Hi, this is Lorraine with Chat and Craft with Lorraine Tierney, and I'm coming to you today to give you an introduction to the Stamparatus. The Stamparatus is a handy little tool that will help you make your stamping nice and clean and crisp very easily. When you get your Stamparatus, you'll see that it comes with two plates. These are called plates. And it comes with a black foam pad. I have the upgrade to a reusable pad here, but it comes with a black foam pad that kind of looks like this. You use the pad when you're using a photopolymer stamp, because this stamp does not have any padding added to it. When you're using this kind of a stamp, a red rubber stamp that has padding, you just take this out. Okay, I'm going to leave it in there for the minute, but you would take it out. It also comes with a little piece of grid paper that you can keep in there, and you can buy replacement packs of grid paper. It also comes with two magnets that you'll find at the bottom. These magnets are very, very strong. If these were not wrapped and I put them close to each other on the table like this, they would just smash together. And sometimes they break when they do that. So you would want to put a little bit of a washi tape around your magnet, or I have some blue painter's tape here. You want to keep it fairly thin so it still fits under your plate when you're closing your plate, but you want to wrap them. Most of the time you probably only need to use one magnet, so keep the other one behind here. And if you're ever missing a die that was on your table, check the bottom of your Stamparatus. It might be stuck to one of those magnets. So the basic premise of using the Stamparatus is that it lets you stamp more than once in the same spot. And you do that because you keep your paper and your stamp very lined up by making sure you're always in the corner. And then you use your magnet to hold the paper in place as well. You can put your plate in. It has grooves here. You hold it at 90 degrees and it snaps in and it snaps out. You can have one plate in and you can have two plates in. I only put the second plate in when I'm using it at the same time, when I need it. Today, we won't need it so much. It's also handy to have a thin stamp case under your plate or behind your plate back there, so that your plate has something to rest on, especially when you're stamping and you need some pressure behind it. I'm trying to get that in the screen, but I'm not sure if you can see that or not. I have a stamp case back there. Now you can see it a little bit. So I want to stamp this big image here. And I want it to be at the bottom of this stamp, of this piece of paper, this white piece of paper. So you could see, I could put it on this plate here. You put it in, squeeze it down, and pick it up. It picks up the stamp automatically. I'm taking that pad out because I have a cushion on this stamp and I don't need it. But sometimes it can be hard to get a good image right alongside of this channel here. So instead, I'm going to put my stamp back down where I want it. I'm going to put my plate in the top and pick it up this way. And now I don't have to worry about being restricted by this edge because the plate can fit down there very nicely. So I'm going to make sure my paper is tucked into that corner tightly, and then I hold it on there out of the way with this magnet. I want to make sure my magnet's not going to be in the way when I stamp. I'm going to slide this forward. I'm going to ink this stamp up now. I'm leaving it on my plate, and I'm going to gently tap my ink pad on there. Now, you can see that I don't have good coverage. Usually you would keep going until you have good coverage, but I want to show you how you'd be able to stamp if that accidentally happened to you. So we're going to put it down, and I'm going to give it a good smush, good rub with my hand and pick it up. But oh look, I don't have good coverage with that ink. So I can ink it up again. If this stamp were on a block and you want trying to put it down again in the exact same place, you would never get it lined up. You would get a double image, it would be blurry, but because the Stamparatus is holding that in place, I can put it down again and get a beautiful, nice stamp. You can see that. Now, another nice benefit of this is if I were making 10 cards that were all the same, I would leave that stamp right there on my Stamparatus and just change out my piece of paper, tuck it in the corner, put the magnet on to hold it. I'd ink it up again and go. And making Christmas cards, I could do 25 of those quick as can be. So that's one of the benefits of the Stamparatus. Now, let me clean that stamp off, and I'll show you one other great thing you can do with it called two-step stamping. Okay, so I just used my chamois to clean that off. And now I'm going to get a stamp that layers. It has one layer and then a second layer, so we call that two-step stamping. So I want to do that right in the middle of this piece of paper. Oh, now this is a photopolymer stamp. It doesn't have any cushioning to it. So I'm going to put my mat back under here. Put my protective paper on and slide my paper into the corner. Remember, you always want it tight in the corner. That will hold it in place. Okay, so I want this right about there. I'm going to flip my plate over and pick it up. It moved my paper just a little. Now I'm going to put my other plate in, and we're going to do a two-step stamp. So after this one is done, I'll place my other stamp. So let me get a couple of colors of ink. First, I'm going to stamp with some flirty, no, this is, what is this? Blushing Bride. I've inked up my stamp. I'm going to stamp with it. Okay, now I want to come in with another color. So I'm putting the second stamp right on top of that. Bring my plate over and pick that stamp up. Now I'll ink it up, and see, I don't have anything under that plate, and it's not giving me a firm surface to ink on. So I like to have a stamp case or a closed ink pad under there. Flip it over, ink it up. Oh, I want it to be a little bit darker. So let's do it again. And it's going to be okay because I have it tucked right in there. Now, you might be able to see that I got a little bit of ink on my plate, but that's okay because it's not going to touch the paper, and it's actually beyond the paper, and it just wipes off with the chamois. Okay, and so I was able to do that two-step stamping. So you can actually do 4 things at once. If I want to do the stem next, I can flip this plate around. And I can put the leaves and the stem on right here. Pick it up. Make sure that's right in. Let me get a green ink. I grabbed some pear pizzazz. And I'm going to stamp with that. So I could now make that card multiple times with 3 different stamps on it. I could add my sentiment to this one and then stamp a sentiment over here if I wanted to. So I hope that you will take out your Stamparatus and play with it a little bit. Give it a try and try some of these things out. There will be more videos that will show you things one step at a time. I hope you will watch them and let me know if they're helpful. Thank you. Bye.